Hey, it's Brenda St. Louis here, BSL. These may be deep thoughts. I'm not certain. But I think I'm starting a series of deep thoughts by Brenda St. Louis. And one of the two words that I had chosen for the definition of my mission or my purpose in the world was deep buoyancy, which means that, there's a levity to everything I do, even though if I work with the most densest energy on the planet, money, there has to be a bit of buoyancy to it, but there's a depth as well. And this morning I had a session or a meeting with a friend of mine, and she's a fellow writer, and I was describing my novel that I'm writing right now. And I have been writing it for quite some time. And there's this element, I think she asked me a question, is like, what's your favorite part of the story? And I couldn't pick one. And the reason why is because the entire story is a catalyst to shift how we could reimagine an economy that supported the planet. And there are so many economists, there are so many brilliant philosophers that have reimagined a different way for us to be in this world. And they're all great ideas. And they're no better or less than mine. Mine's just a little more sci-fi, I would say. So I wanted to talk a little bit about it because it's an interesting thing when we put words to energies that we've been trying to work with. And when we start to articulate it, it has a life force. It actually becomes part of a possibility or a reality. It becomes matter. So one of the elements in the book, well, the whole element in the book is to create a transactional reality that included the planet and the resources on the planet and the consciousness on the planet. And it included our humanity, our community, our connection with each other as beings. And it included technology. And it used technology and merging all three of those together to create basically a currency of exchange. And in that currency exchange, it's like, I'd like it to be a bit of a circular economy, meaning that it's sustainable, that it is not just a zero end game, that it exponentializes and expands, but not in things. It expands in possibility, it expands in innovation, it expands in connection with each other. So that's kind of like the broad stroke of it, but it deepens into these characters. There's Zephyr and Cypher, and they're kind of like soulmates, twin flames. They're more like twin flames because they're learning from each other. They're learning they're opening, and the two of them coming together just make more as a whole too. But it's a struggle. And Zephyr has this real ability to have no filters. She has no filters, so she can merge with this plant, or she can merge with the window, or this piece of argonite. Like it can just. There's just an ability. She doesn't have a separateness from other, and it's impactful on her body when it's really dense. So if she's merging with a tree, it's fine, or a plant or an animal or whatever, it's fine. But as soon as she merges with humanity, it's like there's so many separations and boxes within us that the connection is just not there. So the journey is, how does she cultivate her ability to merge with other and not lose herself in it, but expand into more. So it's a really cool spiritual book, I guess, in the same way. But we also bring in AI, algorithms. We have cryptocurrency, which is a big piece in the platform, that this mycelium network within the earth, and her ability to be completely transparent and undaunted by the density of the world, to the AI and the cryptocurrency and all that, and how those interact to create this kind of an opt-in currency. So once you realize that this is a possibility, that you can actually create an exchange with people all over the planet that honors the planet and each other. And it's not about more is better, and it's not about the powers that be that control it. It's controlled by all of our consciousness. It's a utopia and a dystopia right now in the book, but it's a it's a beautiful journey of unlocking the brilliance of Earth and how the mycelium is its own interweb or wood wide web under the earth, and it has a neural network that is similar to our neural network, and how when you link that up to the algorithms that are already existing in an AI technology. And yeah, I mean, I'm not explaining it totally, but the idea of it is to create a consciousness within us to know that what if we could do that? I mean, honestly, the technology is very close to being that way. As I'm studying super intelligence and humanism and economics and how the systems that we've built are flawed and how they can be shifted into something that's a little more sustainable, and thinking a little bit outside of the box, that money is just not a check as zeros and ones anymore. You know, what if it's 0, 1, love, connection, earth, all of it, you know? So I think we have a lot of possibility that's in front of us, and it's just really exciting to be a part of creating a fiction that could awaken that in people. That's my hope. I like the story. My readers have really enjoyed the story. I just can't wait to see if the whole world enjoys the story. So I'm curious, my call to action for each one of you, do you imagine something that doesn't exist right now? Do you ever allow yourself to go into what else is possible? Or do you limit yourself to what you know? You know, nothing good has been created from what we know. All the amazing things have been created from what if. You know, innovation and our imagination is stretching that line, living on that cutting edge, that leading edge of possibility. So I'm inviting you to start to sit in, what if? What if something existed that never existed before? What if someone made a computer that never broke down? And if it did, you could fix it and you would have it forever. You didn't have to go buy a new one. What if there was people that were making cars that lasted for 20 and 30, 40 and 50 years? And you just plugged them in and they upgraded like a a Tesla, you know, and we didn't make things so obsolete. What if it was advantageous for companies to make things that didn't break down, like a washing machine or a dryer or a dishwasher? You know, what if, waste was so toxic that it was prohibitive to make something that wasn't sustainable. Do you know what I mean? It was built into our framework when we never even thought about, making a buck. It was more like, how do we make things better? Imagine that our profit mindset and our usury or interest mindset was actually the interest and the profit was actually for good. The profit was how many people can wake up a certain part of their brain, not how much money can I get for waking up the cerebral cortex in a big way, or how many, what if the profit or the benefit of creating something was because, it cured a disease, and it wasn't that we sold this medicine that cured the disease and someone gained profit over it. There's just all kinds of things that a lot of times we don't think of. We just think of that's the status quo, that's the way it is, that's the way it's always going to be. Wake up. What if it wasn't? What if we could do something different? Just my thoughts. Deep Thoughts by Brenda St. Louis. Maybe they were kind of deep.